I thought I'd show you my memory palace, my memory crib, as it were, so come on, let's go. This first one, or actually it's the fifth one, but the first one on our journey is You Must Go On, I Can't Go On, I'll Go On, The Unnameable by Samuel Beckett. Front door, walking out. So then let's go into the garage, which is normally where I start. The garage is, I think, of course, my favorite room in the house. Every man's favorite room. So the boat is, of course, Moby Dick, Call Me Ishmael. And I have an imaginary porthole on the boat, and the imaginary mnemonic devices that I use for association are much harder for me to remember than ones out of there. You know, you actually need something tangible. But there's a porthole guest in the boat, and those would be the last lines of Crime and Punishment, but that is the beginning of a different story, the story of the gradual renewal of man, the story of his gradual regeneration, of his passing from one world into another, of his initiation into a new unknown life. That might be the subject of a new story, but our present story is ended. So that's on the boat. And then I've got a meat freezer right here, and of course that would be the beginning of Slaughterhouse 5. All of this happened more or less. So walking in kind of in a closet here where we keep hats would be Holden Caulfield's red hat, the beginning of Catcher in the Rye. If you really want to hear about it, the first thing you'll probably want to know is where I'm from and what my lousy childhood was like and how my parents were occupied and all that David Copperfield crap. But I don't really feel like going into it if you want to know the truth. And then underneath here in the crawl space would be Dostoevsky's Underground Man. I am a sick man, I am a spiteful man, I am an unattractive or unpleasant man, my liver is diseased. So that is the pantry. Come on in, keep walking. You know, the MSU tours, you have to walk backwards the whole way while giving a tour around campus. So if you ever see anybody not walking backwards but giving a tour, correct them. This leather fish is River Run past Even Adams, from Sportsman's Shore to Bend of Bay, brings us by a Commodious Vicus of recirculation back to Howth Castle and Byron's, the beginning of Finnegan's Wake. This picture right here is, my purpose is to tell of bodies that have been transformed into shapes of a different kind by Ovid, first lines of his Metamorphosis. And this penguin is supposed to remind me of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, Once Upon a Midnight Dreary, as I pondered weak and weary. We will walk in here. In this bedroom is where Marcel Proust said in the beginning of Swan's Way, for a long time I went to bed early. And then walking into the kitchen, we have the freezer. No freezer tells an unhappy story, but the first lines of Anna Karenina by Tolstoy are happy families are all alike, every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Also on this would be The End of the Confederate Soldier and Big Sur by Richard Brautigan, which goes, and then there are more and more endings, the 6th, the 53rd, the 131st, the 9,435th ending. Endings going faster and faster, more and more endings, faster and faster, until this book is having 186,000 endings per second. Of course, in the freezer, I eat a lot of hash browns, would be... Years later, as he faced the firing squad, Colonel Aureliano Buendia would remember that distant afternoon when his father took him to discover ice. 100 Years of Solitude. Okay, here, and the dish ran away with the spoon. It was a pleasure to burn, Fahrenheit 451. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toes, did gyre and gimble in the wave, the first lines of Jabberwocky. Where I keep my phone here, last lines of Catcher in the Rye, don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you'll just start missing everybody. Under here is where I would keep Resolve carpet cleaner. Well, this is just regular carpet cleaner, but it has Resolve action, and that would be the last lines of A Tale of Two Cities. It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done, and it is a far, far better rest that I go to than have ever known. And then, let's see, walking here further into the kitchen, the dining area. This painting is The End of Lolita. I am thinking of Aurochs and Angels, The Secrets of Durable Pigments, Prophetic Sonnets, and the Refuge of Art, and this is the only immortality you or I may ever share. How are we doing on time, Sam?
Good.
Okay, this window. Oh, no, here we go. I forgot one. See, it's an imaginary one. You actually have to have something you can touch. An imaginary remembering device, mnemonic device, makes it that much harder. But there's a bunny sitting here, and it is the last lines of Greg Keeler's novel Trash Fish, I Think of the Bunny. Here is the first lines of Pale Fire by Vladimir Nabokov. I was the shadow of the waxwing slain by the false azure in the window pane, making reference to Daedalus. Here's a fire right here, fireplace, Lolita, light of my life, fire in my loins, my sin, my soul, Lolita, at the tip of the tongue, taking a trip of 3, down the palate to tap, on the teeth, Lolita, at 3, Lolita. Here is a dog bed, for Oli is not, but that would be the beginning of Don Quixote. Somewhere in La Mancha, in a place whose name I do not care to remember, a gentleman that lived not long ago, one of those who has a lance and an ancient shield on the shelf and keeps a skinny nag and a greyhound for racing. Alright, we're going to cut the time and you go to the second video now because I can only download so much at one time.